and he left the world only this few years. And the Venerable Jue Guang was staying at the Mercer Island in Seattle, and he bought a house there. And as his precept disciple, I visited him, and he gave me 2 vases, flower vases, which are now at my abode of the Southern Mountain. I left a strong impression. And he had visited the Seattle temple. At that time, it was still being built. So Master Lien Huo and who else? The 3 of you. So we visited the Elder Venerable Xue Guang, and he was my precept master. So thinking about my gurus, they all have left the world. And there are 4 key gurus in Tantric Buddhism that have also left the world. Now, I call myself the old man. Now it's only this old man who knows when he would leave. And my current condition is that I have no contention with the world. I will not fight for anything because nothing is real. We all know that when we die, we will not bring anything with us. And we don't bring anything when we are being born. And yet, we all know that. Yet, we still fight. And we still fight and content. And still seek after money. But at my age, I have no contention with the world whatsoever. So please don't give me troubles, then I would be happy. At night, when I get into bed and covered in blankets and to have a real nice sleep, very relaxed. Like last night, I was together with Golden Mother. That was really wonderful. So nice. And in my dream, I traveled out of body and was together with Golden Mother. And Golden Mother asked me to climb onto a white lotus blossom. And as soon as I closed my eyes and used my mind, and I could fly and be seated on that white lotus blossom. That was really so happy. And in the human world, I could fly above ground and flying all over the place. It was really wonderful. So after the out-of-body travel, and when I opened my eyes, it was 8 a.m. already. And this morning at 7:30, Simu called me. And she straightened my arms and kept rubbing on my arm. And she wanted to see if I would wake up, but at 7:30, but I didn't know. I didn't feel it. And 8 a.m. I woke up, and she said that she rubbed on my arm and pulled my arm, and I didn't wake up. Because that was my happiest moments. How could I wake up at that time? But she wasn't scared, even though I didn't wake up, because she could hear my breathing. So all I ask for is a good night's sleep. And I don't care about the issues of the world. Please don't give me troubles anymore. I don't want to fight for anything anymore. Whatever you want, I'll give it to you. I don't want to contend for anything. I don't want to compete for anything. For an elderly man like me, I have no more energy to fight. So to fight or to battle or to argue or anything, I don't want any of those. So I will give you whatever you ask for. So at this moment in life, you look at everything very lightly. If you can't go beyond it, then you like have crossed eyes. I keep asking you to just look, be open-minded, but you can't because you have crossed eyes. So Grandmaster is very respectful toward his gurus, and each one of them had taught me something. And the gurus are all really good. Although Master In Xun had written a book to criticize me, to reprimand me, because Master In Xun was a very, very strong, although he was very strong and intense, even though he was very old, if someone wrote something about him, he would definitely write back. And in his 90s, there was an association called 正觉 学会 that reprimanded Master In Xun. And because Master In Xun is from Madhyamaka, and this other Weijue is from the Yogacara, so they criticize each other. So at that time, although he was being criticized, he didn't respond. So he probably had reached the state of no contention with the world. I wanted to help him to reply, because the elderly venerable didn't react at all, so it may not be good for us to help him, so I didn't help him. I didn't have a camera. Even now, I still don't have a camera. People took my pictures, but I never took pictures. So I was living right next door to Master In Xun, just with the wall, separated by a wall, and yet we had no photos ever taken together. So even the disciples followed me on our visits, but nobody took a picture. But when Simu visited Master In Xun, Tzu Chi took a picture of her with Master In Xun, but I didn't have a picture taken with Master In Xun at all. But Simu wasn't a disciple. Wasn't a disciple of Master In Xun, but Simu was a disciple of Reverend Tao An. Because I remember her Dharma name was called Tao Hua, and in Taiwanese was called Tao Hui, which is like. And my Dharma name was Tao Yen. And at Master In Xun's, my name was Hui Yen. Yen, like the name is Seng Yen. So at the Venerable Le Guo, I was also called Tao Yen. At Master Pu Fang, I was called Yan Ci. Yuan meaning perfect, and pon, 慈. Those were the Dharma names given by my gurus. So talking about Master Pu Fang, I talk about several of my gurus. And today let's continue to talk or to expound on Lamdre. Let me read the piece. The sixth teaching given in order to arise to meditation quickly, to abandon wrongdoings, and to obtain benefits from doing so. Primarily, one focuses on realization and practice as the basis, and supplemented with the elimination of the toxins, the receiving of nectar, and the decisive break-off. So, realization, practice, and applying it, and to prove, and supplemented with the elimination of the toxins, the receiving of nectar, and the decisive break-off. So the decisive break-offs is like cheche, which is cutting off, stopping and cutting. And the receiving of nectar is a kind of, like say, from Medicine Tathagata has a nectar vase. He was holding a nectar vase, and Amitabha Buddha was the king of nectar, Tathagata. And the elimination of toxins is to eliminate bad habitual tendencies. And the practice, in parentheses, is stilling the mind. And that's the same as meditation, a kind of meditation. And meditation means entering into samadhi. And there are 6 different kinds of teachings to eliminate all karma. So toxins is the same as karma. Eliminate all karma and to receive the empowerments of the nectar and to cut off completely, immediately, stopping all the bad stuff. And that you can abandon wrongdoings and letting go all wrongdoings. This way, you can arise to meditation, and meditation is samadhi. It is very difficult to describe samadhi. Typically speaking, what is samadhi? In Madhyamagya, the middle way, not too loose, not too tight, just right. That's samadhi. So that is between sleep and wakefulness. If you're awake, that's not meditation. If you're asleep, that's of course not meditation. That's dream. So it's between dreams and wakefulness. That would be meditation. That's all I could explain. So in Madhyamaka, it means that you don't go to the extreme of too relaxed or too strict. So everything is right in the middle way. And when you can use this concept of the middle way, then you can enter into samadhi. This was taught by Nagarjuna, who represents Madhyamaka. So Nagarjuna, Aryadeva represent Madhyamaka, and Asanga and Vasubandhu represent Yogacara, or consciousness only. And what is Yogacara? From your eyes, nose, ears, tongue, body, mind. So from our eyes, they're all eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And all together is called the root of consciousness, the seventh consciousness. And when you enter into the deepest consciousness and the finest consciousness, you seek for the Tathagata Garbha, which is the seat of the Buddha. And this kind of method is called Yogacara. And Yogacara and Madhyamaka are the two remaining Buddhist schools. So Madhyamaka and Yogacara. And both are divided into many different sects or schools. So from this, it generates the experience of entering into samadhi, and this is the most important in Buddhism. So in one of the Tsongkhapa's treatises, there are three great attainments in tantric practices. One is by mantra chanting. You continually chant mantras, innumerable of them, until you generate light. That's called the attainment by chanting mantra. Second is the Homa Siddhi or attainment. You always make offerings until you purify your body, speech, and mind. And you make offering of your purified body, speech, and mind to the Tathagata. You make offerings until your body, speech, and mind generate light. That would be the Homa Siddhi, or the attainment due to offerings. And the third is the ultimate or the highest attainment of all Buddhist schools is the Samadhi attainment, or the Siddhi of Samadhi, or the attainment of meditation through meditation. So in this excerpt, that's what it talked about. Focuses on realization and spiritual cultivation, and then supplemented with the elimination of the toxins, the receiving of nectar, and the decisive breakout. So this kind of teachings can give rise quickly to meditation and to abandon all kinds of wrongdoings. So that was what Lamdre taught. Let's share a joke. A boyfriend got drunk, and I heard that eventually he would tell the truth. So the lady asked the boyfriend, in the future, when you get rich, what would you do? And the drunk boyfriend said, I would have 5 wives. And the girlfriend got upset. Why didn't you learn from Wei Xiaobao and have 7 wives? And the boyfriend said, too tired. I need the weekend off. That's why he only won 5 wives. In Grandmaster's spiritual cultivation, Grandmaster never takes a break, not even a single day. And the one that I persist for the longest time is my writing. Other than the time when I suffered from cellulitis, I didn't write. I could not write at that time because I was so drowsy, lethargic. So I didn't write for about 2 months. But now I still write every day. And I cultivate spiritually every day. You know the steps of Buddhist practices. First, you practice the accumulation of merits, and then you do the fundamental or preliminary practices. And one day, when you gain enlightenment, to be enlightened is not Buddhahood, because enlightenment is only the start of your spiritual cultivation. Now you start to walk the path. And then, through your spiritual cultivation, you would reach the highest realm, which is the enlightened realm, the ultimate realm. So the merit accumulation path is performing goods or good deeds and virtues. So what Tzu Chi Foundation is doing these days is the path of merit accumulation. And next is the path of the preliminary or fundamental practices. Like it was written clearly there. Once you have the realization, you need to start performing the preliminary practices, the prostrations, the great offerings, the fourfold refuge, the bodhicitta generation, and repentance. The 6 preliminary practices, the root guru yoga, they are all included in the preliminary practices. The root guru yoga, repentance, the great prostration dharma, the great offering dharma, bodhicitta generation, dharma practice, repentance. The 6 preliminary practices or the 4 preliminary practices have to be performed. So those were considered the fundamental or preliminary practices until eventually you see the Buddha nature, which means you have the true understanding of the mind. Now you comprehend the matter of the world. What is the world? So once you gain this enlightenment, you would start practicing the path. So enlightenment is not Buddhahood. Enlightenment is only the start of your spiritual cultivation on the path. So that's how spiritual cultivation is. There's no rest, no breaks, no weekends. You have to practice every single day. In the kindergarten, a kid asked the teacher, "Are there ghosts in the world?" And when the teacher was mulling over how to answer, Xiaomi replied, "Of course." And so all the kids in the class looked at Xiaoming, and the teacher was curious and asked Xiaoming too, "How are you sure that there are ghosts?" And Xiaoming said, "My dad is a ghost because my mom always called on him as the dead ghost. You can't see ghosts like the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So if you know that you can't see Buddhas, and you can't see Bodhisattvas, and you can't see Sravakas, and you can't see Prateka Buddhas, so you cannot see the four sagely realms beings, and you cannot see the heavenly beings either, like the heavenly beings of the realm of desire, realm of form, realm of formless. And then in the human realms, you can see the humans, but you cannot see the asuras, or the hell beings, or the hungry ghost. And you can see the animals in the animal realm. So you can see the ducks by the Sammamish Lake, which is from the animal realm. But in Buddhism, it's said that there's no need to see them, whether you see them or not. If greed arises in your heart, then the hell realm appears. Whenever you have greed, then you would go to the hell. If you're often angry, then the realm of the hungry ghosts would appear. If you're really deluded and foolish and stupid, then very simple, the animal realm would appear. So it transforms according to your heart. So the four sagely realms and the 6 rebirth realms, the 10 dharma realms, are all based on your mind, in your heart. So that's why Buddhism talks about consciousness only or mind only. And primarily it's this concept that the 4 sagely realms and the 6 rebirth realms, the 10 dharma realms, are all inside your mind. If you think of ghosts, then ghosts would be inside you. So, and the interest of ghost. So, what is a ghost? A ghost is the remaining qi, vital energy of a human being when they die. So ghosts exist, and ghosts would affect or influence human beings and vice versa. So ghosts do exist. So in Thailand, there's a practice to raise little ghosts, or in Southeast Asia, they would like to have this ghost to help them. So they are using the ghost. And my Taoist master had taught me how to employ the ghost. And Grandmaster is very close to the ghost, but recently, at the abode of the Southern Mountain, there are no more ghosts because the akala, the akala at the back, chased away all the ghosts from my house. Every day I invited akala to stand at the front door and at all the windows. They all filled with the emanation of Akala. So Akala Vidyaraja protected my abode, so my house was clean, and now I don't let them come as they like. In the past, there were many ghosts, and I let them come in and out freely, but I was still at peace. So ghosts can influence you, especially when you don't have enough energy, enough chi. So Akala or Mahabala, from the recent grand ceremony, you can invite them home, and you visualize Mahabala at your front door, standing at your front door. You visualize and recite Mahabala mantra, like at these 3 doors and those 2 doors. There are all Mahabalas, and also at the windows, Mahabalas are standing there. Then the temple would be clean. And then you recite his mantra, and you visualize him at your door or windows. Then your house or your residence would be clean, would be cleansed. Because we could feel there are ghosts around. So this is how to employ ghosts. Once you worship ghosts, then ghosts would come. But why do you want to worship ghosts? Because ghosts are at the lowest level of all spirits. So other than the 3 lower realms, ghosts would be at the lowest level of all spirits. So even if you don't worship the ghosts still find you. So, but especially if you worship them, they would definitely follow you. Are there benefits? Yes, if you worship them and offer to them, that is the same as employing the ghost. Then there is benefit. Then you would become wealthy and famous, and you get whatever you want, which is served by the ghosts, because you make offerings to the ghosts. But one day when you feel tired of it and you don't make offering to the ghosts anymore, they would strike back. They would counter charge. So ghosts are like that. So if you offer to them, then they would help you. If you don't offer to them anymore, then they would strike back. Especially when you feel weak, then they would they would counter charge you or attack you. In the earliest time, I taught you the Duchini Dharma practice. And do you know how the vow was? In order to earn a lot of money and to obtain a high position and to gain nobility, Duchini is a kind of ghost. I make offering to Duchini. Let me be wealthy and famous and status and power. And I vow that I would offer my physical body for you to eat when I die. So that's how you vowed. So that's not easy to do. If you slack in your offering, then you would suffer the consequences. On the roadside, I saw a dog, and I kneel and ask, how is how is my faith this year? And the dog replied, Wang. In Chinese, the dog barks like Wang, and in Chinese that also means like thriving, great. So that's following circumstances. So when you're unlucky, you ask a dog, and how is my luck going this year? And the dog would reply, Wang Wang, thrive, thrive. Arf. So the emperor temple should learn this. Everybody should just ask the dogs, how is my luck this year? And the dog would reply, Wang, or thriving in Chinese. So that's like going with the flow. So if you ask, what should I do in the future? And you can ask a cat, and a cat would reply, meow. And meow in Chinese sounds like temple. And then you would say, oh, okay, building a temple. So that's like going with the flow, or taking the opportunity. This is a joke. I hold my wife's chin and said that, how come I never get tired of seeing your face? And the wife said, oh, come on. And the husband replied, it's like, you're so fat. But not sickening. So in Lamdre, it mentioned about elimination of the toxins. So our characteristics, our habitual tendencies are inborn. So when we read the three character sutra, that human beings are born good, and I don't think that's quite right. So those that were born good, they all change. But through spiritual cultivation, you can generate great wisdom in your meditation. You can gain Tathagata's wisdom. Afterwards, you can completely eliminate all your habitual tendencies and preconditionings. But if you're still greedy, simply said, Grandmaster never asked a cat. That's why I never built a temple. And I never asked a dog. So I don't necessarily prosper. As long as we can attain spiritual fruition, and we can guide some of the people to have attainments, I would be very satisfied. I don't need to prosper or to thrive. I think I wrote it in my book. Please don't make offerings to Grandmaster anymore. There's no need. Please don't make offerings to Grandmaster. Grandmaster has enough. There's no need to make offerings. I have written such an article early on, a long time ago, but everybody still wants to make offering to Grandmaster. And this time, I reminded everybody again, please, no need to make offering to Grandmaster. Sometimes this elderly is not attracted to money anymore. It's not. Although sometimes I would say I have a few bars of gold which probably would go to other people's house during earthquake or during typhoon, and the house may crumble and my safe would probably go to other people's house. So I was just kidding, just telling a joke to tie down the safe so that it doesn't move. But they're not alluring to me. So wealth has no more appeal to me. But as you age or you enter into the elderly home, you may need some money. So you just need some money for the old age. Then I don't need much more. I don't need a new house. I already have a house of my own. There's no need. So that's just a small realization because you have seen through it. It's just a very small insight, but it's also considered the elimination of the toxins. One day, the wife complained to the husband. People said that the skin of women before 40s is like a spring bed, and after 40, it would become like tatami, rather hard. So, what do you think of my skin? Is it a spring bed or tatami? And the husband replied flatly, yours is like a spring bed, but with the broken springs. So you can't defy age. You can't lie about your age. Really. After I got cellulitis, I thought that in the past, I often said I was 17, and then a year later I said 27, was still young. But your wrinkles, your neck, the wrinkles on your neck would increase, and the wrinkles on your face would increase. It doesn't matter. It's impossible to become youthful again. Although, by cultivating spiritually, you would appear more youthful than the typical people, but in reality, you have age. So when you're old, you would have ailments either up or down or left or right or the backs or the shoulders or numbness on your fingers. You're not as agile as the young people. When we were young, we can run 100 meters very fast in 10 or 11 or 12 seconds. 100 meters, very fast. But how about now? In over 10 seconds? Because you said that you were young, so run and show us. In the past, in Taiwan, we don't have crossroads, the crosswalks. It's good enough to have asphalt. There were no traffic lights either. When there's a car passing, I was trying to cross the road, I ran. I knew I could run faster. But when I got to America, I knew the speed of my 100-meter run. And I saw the cars coming, and I was trying to run, and I felt that it's getting slower. Then your calculation became wrong. You wanted to cross the road before the car, but you may not be able to make it. So we need to be more careful in crossing the roads. Taiwan is different from America because in Taiwan you can cross the roads on highways. There were a group of Taiwanese coming here, and they ran on the highways in the US. And they thought it's a lot faster just to cross, and we don't have to go around. And a group of people, like over 10 of them, they ran together crossing the highways. That happened before, but now rarely. So, aging is a kind of suffering. The first 7 years of my coming to America, I didn't catch cold even once for the whole 7 years, not even once. I was living in Ballard for 3 years and moving here another 3 years. And on the 4th year, when I got my citizenship, I returned to Taiwan. So I didn't even catch cold once for those 7 years. There's no need to applaud because I was in my late 30s and early 40s. I was very strong then, but not now. There are many references who caught cold, and I got into a place inundated by colds, and someone was making the ink and helping me with my paintings. And one day I saw her wearing the mask. So are you catching cold? And she said, oh, at the worst time, I would wear a mask. And she has suffering from cold for a week, and she has never worn any mask, only that day. So that night I caught cold because she was inundated me with the cold virus for 7 days. So now I have been suffering from cold for 7 days. Now it will infect anybody, or I wouldn't be infected anymore. So as we age, it's easy to catch cold. when cold is around you. But when you were young, you're not afraid of them. But when you get old, then you would lose. So this is the last joke that I would tell. From research, the best way to change your status is by marriage. How can you change your vision? Is by marriage. Because a lot of people would say that you would see clearly your spouse. You would see your spouse clearly after marriage. But let me tell you, it's very, very difficult to see clearly. In the past, in Tantrayana, it said that the guru needs to observe the disciple for 3 years, and the disciple too needs to observe the guru for 3 years before taking refuge, in order to be guaranteed. But it's not necessarily. Sometimes even after observation of 10 years, you still can't tell. And sometimes, you're so close and observing for 20 years, or you're close friends for 20 years and you still go separate ways. Why? The first was because of money. So because of money, even good friends of 20 years can go separate ways. That's why we often say, never partner with your good friends. Because if you are in business together, if you don't divide the profits equally, then you fight. And if you lose, it's even worse. Then you would go separate ways. So how to stick together? Never go into pieces together. So partnerships can break friendships because money is too appealing. Money is too tempting. But if you are not tempted by money, then you already transcend it. So you need to eliminate this toxin. You need to adjust your own habitual tendencies and become a true spiritual cultivator of money. Pay me home. We are truly grateful to His Holiness for the precious Dharma teachings. 说什么？哎呀呀，为什么每次都这样？Tomorrow, Sunday, September 18, at 3 p.m. at the Rainbow Temple in North Bend, Washington, there will be Vajravarahi or Dorje Padma fire offering ceremony and empowerments. And now we'll be incanting Buddha Amitabha. 每次都这样，我刚才已经开。 现在没有啊。
请新皈依者到坛城前长跪，恭请圣尊为新皈依者做。
We are inviting any of you who would like to take refuge into the school and follow the spiritual cultivation. Please come to the center of temple and personally receive refuge initiation from His Holiness. If you're not present in person and would like to take refuge, you may send a letter to Tubida Foundation.
恭请圣尊加持大悲咒水及为佛像开光。
Inviting His Holiness to bless the great compassion holy water and to consecrate Buddha images.
请大家起立做大礼拜。
Please stand up and perform.
上师唵啊吽。二拜诸菩萨，唵啊吽。三拜诸护法金刚，唵啊吽。四平等一起手。同修会圆满吉祥结束了，感谢根本传
This
上
ends
师
the
的大加
invitation
持，
today.
感
Please
谢
remember
师
to
母、诸
return
位
your
上师、教
receivers.
授
Thank
师、
you.
法师、贵宾同门善信大德的护持，谢谢大家。阿弥由于外面下雨，所以大家要排队给师尊摸顶的话，请大家合作。